You've got to tune to KEXP. We're listener-powered radio at 90.3 FM in Seattle. We're online round the globe at KEXP.org. And we're going to do a little round-the-globe thing today. We've got some of our favorite people live in studio, John Roderick, Matthew Caws, and Jesse Sykes. Welcome.
Hi, Cheryl.
Hey.
Before we start into the music, of which we cannot wait to hear, let's talk a little bit about why we're here today. Who wants to take this one?
15th anniversary of Barsuk Records. Kind of special, kind of amazing.
Pretty amazing is right. And am I correct in thinking that you all have records that are 10 years old this year?
That's right. Yeah. 2003 saw all of our records released, and the Barsuk put out 4 records that year. And the other one was Transatlanticism by Death Cab.
What kind of cataclysmic thing was going on in 2003 to make all that wonderfulness happen?
It was, that was indie rock day 1, right? Or day 4. Indie rock day 4 of 7.
Right.
Well, it's great to have you all here. Barsuk Records, crazy. Actually, it seems like more than 15 years ago to me that they kicked things off.
We've all spent that entire time in hotels and diners, so it seems like 4,000 years to us.
Or 8 minutes. Yes.
So true. And we're going to relive it all in just 4 days. I want to say short days, but maybe they'll be long days here in Seattle. There are 4 nights of concerts at some of the best venues all over Seattle. And you guys are going to be playing. And
Not a Surface tonight.
That's right. Yep.
That's kicking off tonight.
At the Showbox.
And you're going to be playing. Are you going to play Just Let Go?
No, we'll do Let Go. We're going to do the B-sides of Let Go, 2 of which we've never played until rehearsal a few days ago. And then, a smattering of other songs just to round it out. You don't want your show to be too short.
That's right. That's right. Well, we're going to start off with some music from you, John, and you are celebrating 10 years of what album?
Oh, of When I Pretend to Fall, which came out in June of 2003.
And out of one side of my mouth, I say that it seems like way more than 15 years that Barsuk has been around and since that album came out, but I still get requests for it every single week, so clearly it has some legs. Well, and
KEXP really made our careers. I mean, you embraced that record so strongly, I still hear from people all around the world that they are listening to KEXP in Croatia and Iceland, and so it really, you guys kind of put us out there.
Well, John, you do deserve a little bit of credit for that. And
I'll take all the credit. I'm amazing.
And I'd venture to say that every song on When I Pretend to Fall is a hit, and you're going to play a couple for us now.
Thank you, my dear. Well, yeah, I'm going to play. Well, yes, I will play 2 songs.
It's John Roderick of the Long Winters live on KEXP.
Sun through the curtains, I gave you a sign. The birds all were quiet, you were so quiet. Some hear a call, some are the messengers. I thumbed through the pictures and know them all. They said, do you remember when you saw her last? I said, her skin is cinnamon, her skin is cinnamon. Do you remember when you saw her last? I said, her skin is cinnamon, her skin is cinnamon. I have too many stories, keeping it serious. Some are collectors, keeping it straight. It was a hospital, I was delirious. I come to the stretcher, I drew them a heart. They said, do you remember when you saw her last? I said, her skin is cinnamon, her skin is cinnamon. Do you remember when you saw her last? I said, her skin is cinnamon, her skin is cinnamon, her skin is cinnamon. Her skin is cinnamon. Two gondolas to carry us. Grand Via was hilarious. St. Paul was there to marry us, but we lied, we're already married, 'cause here's proof we have suntans. And I spoke up with my new hands. Listen to my car, what's it telling us? Start, please start, please start. Do you remember when you saw her last? I said her skin is cinnamon, her skin is cinnamon. Do you remember when you saw her last? I said her skin is cinnamon, her skin is cinnamon. Is it spring where you are? I waited all winter, chasing the lamp cards back to the wall. It's a plausible scenario. I clung to the stretcher, I drew them a heart. They said, do you remember when you saw her last? I said her skin is cinnamon, her skin is cinnamon. Do you remember when you saw her last? I said her skin is cinnamon, her skin is cinnamon, her skin is cinnamon. Her skin is cinnamon. Her skin is cinnamon. Her skin is cinnamon.
Beautiful. It's John Roderick of the Long Winters live on KEXP. And your show is tomorrow night at the Neptune Theater.
That's right.
And what a great lineup. You've got David Bazan, Chris Walla, Minor Alps, which features Matthew as well, and Sunset Valley.
Yeah, although Chris Walla isn't able to play the show, so Death Cab is making a new record, so Chris had to pull out. But all the other bands are going to be there. Dave Bazan playing with a string quartet.
Whoa.
And then Matthew with his new band with Juliana Hatfield. So, and then the great Sunset Valley.
I'm a huge fan.
Playing a full rock set.
Herman
so it's
and
going to
Company.
be a fantastic night.
That is going to be a fantastic night. And you mentioned Death Cab making a new album. And I know you must hate this question by now, but you are such a beloved songwriter. And people ask you all the time when you're going to make new music. And I know you're super, super busy. You do a lot of things. You lecture quite a bit, and you're quite a writer, and you do a lot of stuff with 826 and stuff. But what do you think about, or what's your answer? Do you have a stock answer for when you're going to make another album? Because you are so beloved, and people do want more music from you.
Well, thank you for asking. I mean, I've spent the last year really focusing on re-envisioning the earlier Long Winters music in the style of Alice in Chains. And that has been this enormous project that has kind of taken me out of songwriting and more into song interpretation.
I see.
And that's how we're going to play the show tomorrow night, all in the style of.
Channeling Lane Staley, or doing it sort of in the John Roderick style?
No, in the style of Alice in Chains, the full band. And that's why I've grown this enormous, long, braided beard, which everyone was complimenting me on. No, I am working on new music, and I have actually a couple of albums worth of music that's unreleased.
And when you find the time.
I'm doing a Salinger. I'm waiting until I die, and then everybody will be like, maybe he's got a bunch of records on his computer. make my heirs all wealthy.
Well, how about another song, Don?
Yeah, good. This is also from Pretend to Fall. I love that we're doing this anniversary. It takes the pressure off of me having any new songs to play. No, this is amazing. Let me play some songs from 10 years ago. Okay.
Washington's on the one. I'm in the middle of speaking and you're under the gun. Seething, leave it to the lone nut. It's unappealing in someone so young. Plaintive, you're feeling so washed washed up and you mean it when you say you're done. 5 lanes of freeway, but it's all gone dark. You called to say you're gonna run. Can you wait? Can you stand it? Are you brave or are you scared straight? Scared straight. She didn't want you to speak her right. She didn't want you to be strong. She didn't want you to act nice. She didn't want you to take so long. She didn't want you to call time. She didn't want you to seem tired. She didn't want you to leave mad. Didn't want you to get so wired. Can you wait? Can you stand it? Are you brave or are you scared straight? Scared straight. Maybe you belong to someone. Maybe you have finally met them. And maybe smoke belongs in the sky. Maybe I hate it when you cry. Can you wait? Can you stand it? Are you brave or are you scared straight? Scared straight. You were hurt, so you got hard. You were cursed and scolded and scarred. You were searched for, then ignored. You want to burn the liars. You'll set us both on fire. Faking, so I'm pretend sleeping, waiting for this to be fun. It's true, little Miss Mean Mini Bar Guard. We're gonna have to try something new. Let me breathe. Let me breathe. Let me breathe. Let me breathe fire down on you. Let me breathe fire down on you.
So nice. Sounds fresh 10 years
Thank you.
later. And
I should have tuned my guitar before I pulled it out of the case and played on the radio, but that's in the style of the Long Winters.
and tomorrow you'll have a tuned guitar in the style of Alice in Chains.
Maybe. No promises.
At the Neptune with Minor Alps at Matthews Inn. And you guys are going to be live tomorrow on
That's
the
right,
air.
yep.
So a busy schedule for you here in Seattle.
Yep.
And Sunset Valley, as you mentioned, a David Bazan with strings.
Yeah, string quartet, which is amazing, and I don't think they've ever played together. I don't think they have rehearsed together at all. So that's going to be a real high wire act.
Will
That's
be
the Seattle style.
tomorrow night at the Neptune. And Sunday at the Tractor Tavern, our good friend Jesse Sykes in the suite hereafter. And I think that the theme of today really is beloved. You are some of the most beloved artists to the KEXP listeners and to your fans. And Jesse, you fall so solidly in that category. And it's been a pleasure to play your music over the years.
Well, I can't tell you how much it's meant to us. And yeah, without, I don't know, there are no words, you know. We're just extremely appreciative and grateful. And I'm really happy for Barsuk to exist in this day and age because it is, you know, a feat, you know. They're up against a lot and so much has changed since we all started doing this. I mean, the whole dynamic is completely different. So it is something to celebrate. I admit I was very I took about 6 months when I got the phone call. I was like, call me in 6 months, just because something about going backwards scared me a bit, because we all worked so hard to sort of emancipate ourselves from our previous records. And I always joke, you love and hate them equally. But our first record, it was a somber affair, and it took a long time to sort of shake the, depressing alt country sort of funerary aspect. And I was like, man, like, what if people don't get the memo and they go that night? They'll be so confused, just because I feel like we had just done the last record. But now, because, taking my ego out of it, it just felt really special and necessary to reconnect with these people that have given me this gift,
Well, Reckless Burning is the album that came out 10 years ago, and we've had the wonderful pleasure here at KEXP, formerly KCMU, of watching your entire career unfold in front of us before you started playing solo, and what a strong artist you are.
Thank you.
I think some people might think of Barsuk Records as a pop record label, but I remember a long time ago talking to founder Josh Rosenfeld, and he mentioned that one of his favorite shows, if not his favorite, on the radio station is The Roadhouse. And I was surprised looking at the discography of Barsuk to hear that he was such a roots music fan, and then he signed you and Laura Gibson and Rocky. And tell me how you met and got involved with Barsuk.
I mean, unfortunately, it's kind of a long, complicated story, and I tend to like to go on and on, but it's a beautiful story. I mean, I've been sort of using that word a lot that comes to me, entanglement, the concept in physics that everything is connected. And I had the good fortune of literally living at ground zero. I mean, I met John. He was on my doorstep, and I probably met you the same way. Like, it was right next to the old Reciprocal, which became Hall of Justice. I don't know what it's called now, but it was 6th Avenue Northwest, right off Leary. I lived there for about a decade. And, for a while there, I'd see Chris Walla, and I knew who he was, but he didn't know who Phil and I were. And Phil and I were a couple. We lived together. And I think he figured out one day, like, oh, that freak who's always working on his truck was in Whiskey Town. He was a huge fan of Stranger's Almanac, and he introduced himself one day to Phil, and we became sort of, across the street buddies. And long story short, I don't really remember how it went down, but somehow whether I handed it to him or someone else, Tucker Martine, we did the first record with him, and he got it, and he gave it to Josh. And yeah, it was sort of the last thing I would have expected on such a sort of, quintessential indie sort of male at the time. You know what I mean? Like, it just, our music, as I said, was sort of somber and dark and sort of hard to pinpoint, and it felt right to me instantly because of the connection I made with Josh and Christopher and Emily. Just, I felt I could be myself. I mean, I have stories of walking in there and sobbing while I was making a certain record and having breakdowns where I was like on the floor in the embryo position, and their desks are surrounding me, and they're all just like, but there was just something. The reason I bring that up is they seem so like the well-adjusted sort of label, but they have such a capacity to understand their artists. And
you had to see it at the time.
You had to be there.
We would come out of the recording studio, and indie rockers all in like too tight sweaters and Converse tennis shoes, and these two across the street had 2 shepherd dogs, right?
Well, I just had one, but there were a lot of dogs.
One shepherd
in
dog.
The house.
Yeah, a lot of dogs running around. They had a boat on a trailer, a motorcycle, a 60s Ford truck. Phil was in his denim tuxedo, and Jesse's wearing jade jewelry, and it was just like, wow, this is a heavy scene across the street here. I mean, the two worlds would meet in the center. And
and you can only imagine how intimidating it is to see, you'd see like the Decemberists or whoever, and I'd be like, geez, I haven't even brushed my teeth because, I was always working on chipping away at my songs, and I wouldn't, I would just kind of work, and someone would knock on the door, and it would be like, oh gosh, it's like John Roderick at my door, and I'm like, haven't washed my hair in days, or it was, my picture window looked right out on it, literally like 10 feet away, and it was pretty miraculous. I want to write about that time because then the Fleet Foxes were using it as their space and recording there, I think, too. And so you'd see little fleet foxes scattered about in the morning, you know, and it was just a trip to see the changes. It really, you know, and to think that's where Nirvana recorded Bleach. And so many great bands when Jack Endino owned it. But, yeah, I feel like I got to sort of witness it from this different, strange vantage point of literally living on the epicenter of it. And, you know, sometimes it feels like cheating, like, oh, did we get signed to Barsuk? Because, like, we were the next door neighbors of, you know, Chris Walla's deal. But I don't know. I think...
no, I believe it was a sound that was very near and dear to their heart.
Yeah, that record killed us all when we heard it.
Man, I greatly appreciate hearing this. And yeah, it's been a incredible journey, and I'm very nervous right now. Sorry, I know I'm not supposed to say that, but my heart is beating, so I hope that my fingers will do the job right now. And but just thank you again, everyone.
Well, thank you. And you want to play a couple songs from Reckless Burning?
Yes.
It's Jesse Sykes live on KEXP.
Dora Lee, there's water in the basement. And Saturday, you'll be sleeping in the tree. And gone are the weeds that you tended to like children. And gone are the days, distance between. Dora Lee, there's gravel in your bathtub. The fish swam free, looking for their ocean moon. You once loved a man whose heart was big and open. He said he could see the beauty in us all. Dora Lee, there are flies among the dead now. The fish swam free, looking for their ocean moon. You once loved a man whose heart was big and open. He said he could see the beauty in us all. He said he could see the beauty in us all.
So lovely. It's Jesse Sykes live on KEXP.
Thanks. This is called Hard Not to Believe.
am I to believe? And I've lost myself in you, afraid to ask for what I need, so give it to you. But I'm on your side now. Well, I'm on your side now. Well, I'm on your side now. I'm on your side now. And if I sleep beside the river, you flood over me. Well, I'm as far away from my life as I could be. But I'm on your side now. Well, I'm on your side now. I'm on your side now. Well, I'm on your side now. Faith is all we ever need, and I can't compete. I think God knows you care for me, you care for me. But I'm on your side now. Well, I'm on your side now. I'm on your side now. I'm on your side now.
So lovely. So nice. Awesome. Jesse Sykes, songs from the album Reckless Burning. And did I hear correctly that the band playing Sunday night at the Tractor is a special anniversary lineup of the original band?
Yeah, it is. It just happened that our original drummer, he had moved to Canada, moved back to Seattle, and it just seemed that it would be strange not to ask him, since, you know, Anne-Marie Rolyansich, she's been on all the records, but she had a child and couldn't tour anymore. So it just, it's the original lineup, and, you know, probably upright bass and the whole 9 yards. So it'll be really special on that level.
It will. It's Jesse Sykes and the Sweet Hereafter playing Sunday evening at the Tractor Tavern, and Rocky Vodolato and Laura Gibson also going to be playing with you.
Very excited.
Man, so many great bands on Barsuk Records. Go to KEXP.org, by the way, and of course Barsuk.com to see the lineup for all the shows. Again, Not a Surf's going to kick it off tomorrow night. And
tonight.
Tonight. Oh, my goodness. That's right. Excuse me. We're already on Thursday. This is my first day working this week. So I'm taking an easy week, but resting up for that Not a Surf show. And that brings us to you, Matthew. You have a long career with Not a Surf that predates Barsuk's anniversary, which is celebrating 15 years. But you are definitely an important band on that label, and we think of you as a Seattle band.
Right.
And you feel like a local band. We love to take ownership of you, but you're not from Seattle. And how did you get connected with Barsuk?
Well, I'm from New York, and the group had started a few years before. And I've always liked so many kinds of music and been into so many, from a distance, so many scenes, I guess is the word. I wish there was a better one. But, the idea of an independent label that just puts out records that it really feels excited about and doing things the right way, the kind of the cheap way, not being wasteful and just putting the money back into putting out good music. That seems so appealing to me. And when we started this band, that's sort of the kind of place we wanted to be, and it just didn't happen. We got scooped up by Elektra Records, and had a rocky couple of years, and kind of got thrown out of that plane. But so I felt in a way that we hadn't really started yet, because we weren't really ourselves in a way. I mean, we were on record, but something about, I don't know. It's more than how we're presented, just how we felt. I think relationships really matter. It's more than just who's pressing it. But we ended up on Barsuk through mutual friends. There were just a couple of reasons too. Barbara Mitchell was somebody I knew when I worked at Guitar World, who was doing publicity for. I was a writer at Guitar World, and she was doing publicity for Barsuk. And then we took Ryla Kiley on their first tour, and I guess Jenny was Josh's long-lost distant cousin or something. These two reasons were flimsy, but enough reason for me to call him. And I'd really already fallen for the label for a very strange reason, which is that I got into Death Cab through Barbara and thought they were great. And I remember looking at something about airplanes, and the art was so appealing, and the band, the label logo was in lowercase and not too big, not too small. Everything was kind of tidy. This seems ridiculous.
And actually, I was going to say, who's going to say they signed to Barsuk because of that adorable little dog?
It spoke to me, I mean, honest, it really did. There was something so great. And plus, the music was so good. And so we got to talking, and I, and Josh was a really personable, incredibly bright guy on the phone, and just really appealing. I enjoyed talking to him a lot. And so I sent him these tapes of what we were working on, which was Let Go, and he was really enthusiastic and waited while we figured out where we wanted to be. And I'm sorry to be kind of music businessy about it, but this is that's how it started,
Well, I think people are interested in that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and he was so patient. And when I mentioned other labels, he said, yeah, that'd be all right. Why don't you go check it out? Go talk to them. We'll be here.
He was running that label out of his house, and I remember at the time sitting on the floor of his office, and he said, I want you to hear a record that I'm thinking about putting out. And he played me all of Let Go. And we sat there, and he wouldn't tell me who it was.
Wow,
he was like, I want you to hear this album, and just tell me what you think. Like, I don't want to tell you who the band is.
Right.
And we just sat there quietly and listened to the album all the way through. I was like, this is amazing. What is this? He said, it's Not a Surf. Do you remember those guys from MTV?
Right.
And I was like, I didn't have a TV during that period because.
Well, I would tell you that it is very well worth going back and Googling Popular and seeing how adorable and young they all look playing on that football field.
It's true.
But what a weird thing for a label guy to do. Like he just wanted me to sit on his floor Indian style and listen to this album that he was really digging and was excited about.
Right. And there's no guarantee. Someone could tell you they did that, but you might not believe it, but you saw it actually happen. That's what it says, so real. That really says a lot about Josh and them. That's fantastic.
We'll talk about another record where every song is, I want to say, a hit, frankly. I mean, they're just pure perfection.
Thank you so
not
much.
like there's just two or three and then a bunch of filler. So I think both sides lucked out there. You talk about how great Josh and the label are, and I think it's fair to say when you keep releasing album after album that there's something special going on when you want to stay with a label. And it's probably fair to say that it's like a family. And I would assume that you get, creative license and control
Yeah, and I guess that's where I was going. Exactly, you said it. It's just right. It's that we finally felt like we were home, and kind of Seattle too. Did a lot of work here, and Chris Walla mixed a couple of songs on Let Go. I had no money. I was totally hustling that record, and he offered to mix a couple of songs on his one day off between tours. He had a new girlfriend. He had the flu, and he did it for $100. I mean, that's just crazy. And of course, did a wonderful, wonderful job.
That's kind of hard to believe when you hear that record.
And I want to second what John and Jesse said. Well, third what they said, and that we're really grateful to KEXP because I feel like we were really embraced from the beginning, and I think it's really helped get the word out of our second life, which feels like our true one. So thank you for that.
Well, it's our pleasure, and it goes without saying we all agree that the folks at Barsuk are just awesome people, but clearly they know how to identify great music, and you three are perfect examples of that, and we keep talking about that amazing album, Let Go. So, Matthew, you want to play us a couple songs for that?
I'm going to put on some headphones.
All right, so you can hear them too.
Yeah.
You probably never get tired of hearing that record either.
I didn't hear what you said. I was putting on headphones.
Go ahead.
All right, this is called Inside of Love.
Watching terrible TV, it kills all thought. Getting spacey again, an astronaut, making out with people I hardly know or like. Can't believe what I do. Late at night, I wanna know what it's like on the inside of love. I'm standing at the gates, I see the beauty above. Only when we get to see the aerial view will the pattern show, and we'll know what to do. I know the last page so well, I can't read the first, so I just don't start. It's getting worse. I wanna know what it's like on the inside of love. Standing at the gates, I see the beauty above. I wanna know what it's like on the inside of love. I can't find my way in. I try again and again. Must be a different view to be a me with the you. I wanna know what it's like on the inside of love. I'm standing at the gate, above. I wanna know what it's like on the inside of love. Of course I'll be alright. I just had a bad night. I had a bad night.
Matthew Caws, a song from Not a Surf's album Let Go, which you'll be playing tonight at Showbox at the Market. You've got a show with Mates of State and a reunited The Prom. And
Indeed.
How about one more?
Sure. This is called Treading Water. There's a bit of a guitar abstract solo in the middle. That's not the kind of thing a man with or a woman with a solo acoustic guitar should try, but this is a song I want to play, so here we go.
Movies like Zeus, try another me and I will try another you. My arms around you like I think you want me to. But tell me what you're thinking, I so often misconstrue. Treading water, treading white wine, seeing borders, seeing straight lines. I get these feelings that I don't have much time. Always rushing, always late. Always rushing, always late. Always late, always late. I talk to missionaries when they're standing at my door. They tell me what I should be reading, I still can't see what for. We both stand there politely trying to change each other's core. When other angels float by, they seem likely to fall from the sky. What I want is difficult, I must try. I see traces when you walk, other voices when you talk, when you talk. When other angels float by, they seem likely to fall from the sky. What I want is difficult, must try. I see traces when you walk, treading water, treading white wine, seeing borders, seeing straight lines. I get these feelings that I don't have much time. Always rushing, always late. Always rushing, always late. Always late. I'm always rushing.
And the crowd goes wild.
Oh, my goodness. Well, use your mental editor. You guys can do that now, right?
We don't need
Everyone
to.
out there in rock and roll land.
That was awesome.
Thank you so much.
You know, Matthew, every time you're on the air, I get emails for like days before you're here. Oh my God, you're going to get to see Matthew soon. You're the luckiest person in the world. So you're very, very much loved.
I know, just seeing him is a treat.
I know.
Before he even plays a note of music.
I know. And
You guys, this is a real treat for me. I'm such an enormous fan of both other guitar players, singers, songwriters in this room. So it's a really, it's great. And that's another thing about Barsuk was that just such a rich catalog already when we put out a record there. You know, it seemed like everything I listened to was incredible. So that felt really, really good and has enriched my life a lot. So I'm grateful to them and again to you guys.
Well, I can hardly wait to see what they do in the next 15 years, and I hope you're all part of that. I feel certain that you will be.
Yeah.
Barsuk Records celebrating 15 years this week. 4 nights of music at 5 iconic Seattle venues, starting tonight at Showbox at the Market with Not a Surf and a great lineup. Tomorrow night, the Long Winters and Friends playing at the Neptune Theater. And Saturday, Fantagram and Omna and more are going to be playing at Numos. And Jesse's playing an early show at the Tractor on Sunday night. And then Sunday night at the Sunset, Rah Rah Riot and Aqueduct. That's just too much to even fathom. What a great week. Thank you all so much for coming in. Oh, I do want to mention also that net proceeds of these shows benefit Gilda's Club Seattle, which is a cancer support organization. So the good vibes just keep coming. It just keeps getting better and better. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Big thank you to Jesse Sykes, John Roderick, and Matthew Caws. Live on KEXP Seattle.